Hi, David.
Good evening, and welcome to the Raleigh Board of Selectmen meeting of February 23rd, 2015. The time being 7 p.m., I call the meeting to order. As a reminder, this meeting is being audio and video recorded digitally. Bill, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bill. Chairman comments, I will skip that tonight as we've got a tight schedule. From 7:05 to 7:15 p.m. will be Citizens Query. We have an appointment at 7:15 with Conservation Agent Brent Bazelak to discuss conservation restriction on the Brad Street Farm. And we have the Harbor Master with us tonight, who has another commitment that he needs to get to. So I'm going to skip down to old business number 3 and discuss Town Landing Dock Project.
Thank you very much. Just a quick update.
Okay.
First one is on the wharf repair project. I believe you're all familiar that we had 2 bids come in, both of those over the allocated amount of money that we have. A little surprised, and then again not, because both of the contractors really couldn't see the job on the site. It was buried in snow, and we went down to see what we could do, Patrick Snow and I, and it was impossible. So they did the best they could, but a lot of it was an estimate. So suggested to Debbie that we go back out to bid in another 2 weeks, give it some time to let the snow abate, hopefully someday, and we'll start the bid process again and get it underway. I feel comfortable that we should be able to get it down significantly once people really get to see what the project's all about. It's not that complicated. So there's that one. The other one on the dock system, I did request information from one of the 2 bids that we received, and I found that it was not compliant with the bid spec that we sent out on the dock iron part of it, and so we have disqualified that bid, and we are going to issue a issue a purchase order to the second bidder, both who came in underneath the limit we had. So we will accomplish that job within budget and on time. So we should have those things delivered before April 1st, so we can get them installed without having to put the old ones in and then pull them back out. So that'll be nice. But
Okay.
so that project will get underway as soon as we've got the purchase order cut.
Yeah, so if the board would like to take a vote to support awarding that supplies contract to Custom Float Services in the amount of $24,996.40.
$24,996.40. In this delivery is extra 600.
Excuse me?
Well, I don't know if we have
No,
the
that
funds for
doesn't
that.
include, we're working that off to the side. I'm working with Dana Warren.
Okay. So we want to get a bid to award a bid to Custom Float Services for $24,996.40. Is that what it says on here?
Yep.
Well, that's, yes, exactly what the harbor master said. So the low bid was non-responsive to the specifications on the particular type of hardware that connects the different units.
I'll give you a motion to accept that bid.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate the accelerated schedule. And
No
you
problem.
have a good night.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
too. Take care, thanks.
Take care, Bill.
Okay, the time being 7:05, Citizens Query is open. And we can go down to general business number 1, request from Library Director Pam Jacobson to list hiring freeze for library technician position.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. I will read the letter into the record. Dear sirs, I would like to request the hiring freeze be lifted so that the Raleigh Public Library may hire a library technician. Our newest library technician, who had been here for just over a month, has resigned in order to accept another position. It is essential that we have coverage of the 4-hour shift that she worked each week, as well as help to fill in the Saturday rotation. So we do need to post and fill this vacancy. Thank you for your consideration of this matter. The motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, old business number 2, request from Police Chief Robert Barker to lift hiring freeze for police officer position. Okay, this is honorable board members. I am requesting that the board vote to lift the hiring freeze and allow me to hire a full-time police officer. The sudden and unexpected resignation of our most recent full-time officer after only a month has left the position vacant. Filling his position is particularly vital at this time because the full-time officer hired last August is scheduled to attend a 5-month police academy starting in March. Since the academy is required and cannot be postponed, we will be short 2 full-time officers until we can appoint a replacement. In addition, I request the board vote to lift the hiring freeze and allow me to hire for the position of reserve patrolman. I expect members of our current reserve staff to compete for the full-time patrolman position, which will leave an opening for reserve patrolmen should they be selected. Reserve officers are an integral part of our staff and are vital to controlling overtime costs. Robert Barker, Chief of
I'll
Police.
give you a motion, Mr. Chairman, for both positions to be lifted.
Motion made.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. We've still got about 10 minutes, just under 5 minutes to go, just over 5 minutes to go. New business number 1, open annual town meeting warrant. The Board of Selectmen needs to vote to open the annual town meeting warrant and to close it at 4 p.m. on Monday, March 16th.
I'll give you that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. This is the annual and special town meeting schedule. Okay, I see what it is.
Yeah,
That just kind of gives us a breakdown of what's going to take place.
Yes, right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor of opening the annual town meeting warrant signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, discuss street layout hearings for Hawksworth Village and Wild Pastures. Discuss street layout hearings for Hawksworth Village and Wild Pastures. Town planner Kirk Baker has informed that the planning board is finishing up their review of the as-built plans for 2 separate subdivision developments, Hawksworth Village and Wild Pastures. We haven't received anything yet, but anticipate receiving a formal notification soon, at which time we will have need to hold street layout hearings for each of these subdivisions.
I wasn't sure if we would have anything in tonight. The planning board met last Wednesday, so I know they're working on it and have been in touch with Kirk, but we should just
Keep that
be
in
aware
mind.
that we're gonna have to have a layout hearing for each of these separate subdivisions and have articles on the town meeting warrant.
Okay. So there's no action required there.
No, not tonight.
Okay, new business number 3, discuss reserve fund transfer for veterans benefits line. The balance is, in the veterans benefits line, the balance is $5,981. We have additional cases and we're drawing down more than $10,000 a month. Debbie recommends that we seek a reserve fund transfer for $10,000 to carry us through mid-March to mid-April. We can put an article on the special town meeting warrant to transfer funds from the remainder of the year. Okay, is there any discussion?
Make that motion.
What was, I'll second it. What was the original appropriation on that, Debbie? That's basically skyrocketing, right?
Yes.
I don't know if you've been watching, Dave, when the warrants come in, but
Yeah,
there's
I haven't added up the numbers.
they've actually doubled the number of people that are taking the benefit at this point from Rowley. So I've been noticing it's been going up and up.
45,000.
45,000.
So, is there any other discussion? Okay,
Can you just maybe make an inquiry from the Veterans Officer? They may be willing to discuss with a couple of board members anyway, not necessarily come to a meeting, but just
Right.
to let us know where this is going or what's happening, and, because with the new budget season coming up, if we have to double
yeah,
the veterans budget, that's gonna put a real crimp in our budget plans, but if we have to plan for it, so.
exactly, yep. Okay, all those in favor of the, requesting the transfer signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, new business number 4, review Northeast mosquito control proposal, fiscal year 16 budget. Okay, the Northeast Massachusetts Mosquito Control and Wetlands Management District has sent us the proposed fiscal 16 assessment. The assessment comes in the form of a charge to the town's state aid. The district has scheduled an informational public meeting at 10 a.m. on Friday, February 27th, 2015 at Salisbury Town Hall. Rowley's proposed fiscal year 16 assessment is $54,675, which reflects no increase. The fiscal 15 assessment was $54,657. If the board is satisfied, then it needs to vote to indicate the support of the fiscal 15 budget, and the chairman will need to sign the document.
I'll give you that motion to support the budget and authorize you to sign the document.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded, and it's very seldom these days that we get the same thing twice in a row.
Right.
So,
The mosquitoes are maintaining their present level of biting, I guess, eh?
yeah, and you
You
know,
luck out.
with the way things went the last couple of years with the Triple E and West Nile, I mean, I don't think we can afford
No,
not to have this program.
we've been fortunate, so they've done well.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Deb, do you want me to sign that a little bit later, or
You can sign that later, sure.
okay? Just remind me if I forget, okay?
Stay on top of it.
Just give me a little nudge.
Somehow I expect so.
Okay. So, we've only got about a minute to go. So Brent, you need to organize your papers just a little bit, you know, maybe turn them around or whatever, while I adjust mine. And we should be okay.
At number 1 of old business, Mr. Chairman, probably take 2 seconds if you...
Well, I looked at that, Dave, and I figured it may take more than 2 seconds. So I was kind of holding back
Okay.
just a little bit. And we already did the town wharf bid results, or did we?
Yep.
We discussed the dock and landing, but yeah, I guess we did discuss the town wharf bids also. Okay, Brent, the time is up. So Conservation Agent Brent Baselak and actually, let me just, before I get to that point, let me declare that the citizens' query is closed. 7:15 p.m., Conservation Agent Brent Baselak to discuss conservation restriction on the Broad Street Farm Conservation Area. Brent will be here to discuss the conservation restriction document for the Broad Street Conservation Land. The Conservation Commission has been working on this document for the past several months with the Mass Audubon Society. It is and has been signed by the Conservation Commission and now needs to be signed and notarized by the Board of Selectmen. So Brent, if you want
Thank
to
you,
bring us up to
Chairman.
date.
Mayor and distinguished members of the Board of Selectmen. As the Conservation Commission is specifically requesting that selectmen consider acceptance and granting of the conservation restriction for the Bradstreet Farm property. In the letter dated February 19th, I noted that the Conservation Commission had 3 public hearings in regards to this. We worked diligently with Mr. Robert Ford of Mass Audubon's Land Conservation Department, and also engaged the services of Town Council Judy Pickett to review the final document, which is before the board this evening for their consideration. Do you wish me to highlight anything in regards to the restriction?
I got to admit, Brent, that I actually did read it. And I just came across one item that I don't
Mr.
think.
Chairman, that's been changed.
It's been changed.
Yes, you have
So
the.
it was not supposed to be that way.
No, they had written Middlesex Registry of Deeds instead of
It
Essex.
was one of the things that we were going, it was listed as
Yeah,
Middlesex.
page 14, the last sentence in section H that dealt with amendments. Yeah,
Wow,
that just,
I'm glad I read it.
it was a holdover from, whatever original template that this was used for.
Yeah, and-
We thought we had purged them all, but we apparently missed that one since there was a decoy one down below it that we did catch.
And there were several others in there that also mentioned that, and I said, that seems kind of strange. I just wanted to make sure, and my first thought was that maybe it was left on a boilerplate type page that had got missed, so.
Well, not necessarily a boilerplate. We look to, because Mass Audubon being the largest environmental nonprofit land conservation organization in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, we look to them to originally provide us with a restriction that they had previously consummated with another landowner or municipality that was very similar to the requirements that we were going to be seeking in regards to some of the, not that I use the word restrictions, in some of the uses that we wished not to see prohibited on the property, such as community garden, as well as the fact with fairly extensive acreage that is in woodlands, we wanted to see provisions that would possibly allow forestry prescriptive measures, not for commercial harvesting, but for the ability to possibly manage the forest in case we saw some change that we didn't necessarily view as being constructive to the wildlife habitat values and the ecological integrity of that piece of property.
Oh, very good.
So there have been provisions made in the document with an attachment for possible future expansion where appropriate of the community gardening area. There has also been what I would, or what the commission, I believe, considers as prudent cautionary uses, and that is such as, since the commission wishes to develop citizenry participation and utilization of the property, they did feel that with the affordable housing parcel adjacent to it, the community garden being actively used, and the intended recreational parcel directly abutting it, they felt that hunting and trapping was not going to be a use that would necessarily facilitate us wishing to draw the citizenry onto the property. And so there has been a prohibition against hunting on that. That was taken under consideration with the fact that Raleigh already has major acreages maintained by the State Division of Fisheries and Wildlife for management purposes of game, fishing and fowling and hunting, and so we didn't believe that that would necessarily be detrimental to this particular piece of property.
Okay. Is there any questions from the board members?
Yeah, none.
Okay, we will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Since you've already signed, would you do me the honors of signing in my recordation book?
You want to finish filling that out, or that'll let carry it? I'm assuming the information on the first line will be filled in, the
Yes.
dates and times, okay? Okay,
I leave the document here for copying or
Yep,
whatever. And then
that'd be
I'll
great.
just pick it up,
yep.
transmittal.
Put it in the package, we'll go through that when you get done.
Next, I believe, will be to send it to Massachusetts Audubon, and then they'll forward it on to the state for consideration by the Secretary of Environmental Affairs.
Great.
Thank
Right,
you.
thank you so much. Okay, that is taken care of. We're still under, we'll actually go under old business to discuss rescheduling postponed hearing on the proposed reconstruction of Central Street with Highway Surveyor Patrick Snow and Norman Brown of Bayside Engineering. So, are they planning to be here, Deb, or are we just gonna kind of talk about setting a date and then getting back to them?
Actually, Pat is requesting that we hold a meeting on Monday, March 30th.
Okay.
He's-
Okay, yeah, let me read
they're
this then,
available.
because I saw it was with Highway Surveyor Patrick Snow and Norman. I didn't know if they were planning to come to this one or not, but.
Oh, yeah,
I was
no.
gonna say, Pat's probably still pretty busy out there trying
Oh,
to.
he,
get
he,
things cleaned up.
we originally had this scheduled for this evening. And so, we have it on tonight so that the board could approve his request to move it to Monday, March 30th.
Okay,
And then once you do that, we can get the publicity out and he will notify the residents.
sounds good, yeah.
Thanks, Brett.
Obviously, we had to cancel this scheduled public hearing, and actually, we canceled it twice because of snowstorms. So Pat is requesting that this meeting be rescheduled to Monday, March 30th, 2015, at 7:30 PM. Is there any discussion?
You need a motion?
Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor of scheduling the meeting on March 30th at 7:30, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And Pat will be sending out, the highway surveyor will be sending out notices to the abutters. And as we did in the first time around, when we had to cancel the meeting at the last minute because of the snowstorm. So we'll be looking forward to holding the public hearing. Okay. Old business number 2 is discuss town wharf bid results. And basically, we went over that with
Did that
the,
already, right?
with the harbor master when he was here discussing item number 3, which was the dock project. Okay, you want me to read the notice, Deb? Or do we
I think
can-
we're all set on number 2, the board. I've informed the board that the bids were well exceeded the budget, so
Right.
he'd like to release it in maybe a month or so when bidders have a chance to really look at the wood and the rotted areas, because with the snow buildup, we expect that they really didn't get a good viewing of that. So we'll release that in about a month. I'll wait for him to get back to me. And we're all set with the dock project.
Okay. Sounds good. And we're both considerably over the estimated budget. So. Okay, old business number 4, fiscal year 16 Triton tentative budget and stadium project. Joe, can you help us out with that?
Okay, the Triton School Committee is holding a public hearing on Wednesday night, the 25th, at 7 o'clock at the Triton High School Library. And they are inviting public comment on the fiscal year 16 budget, their tentative budget. The tentative budget, as it stands right now, calls for a 4% approximately increase, and it comes out to approximately $333,154. The fiscal year snow and ice budget deficit as of today is approximately $200,000 over the budgeted $100,000. The board may consider asking the school committee to look at an increase of no more than 2.5%, which will be about a $208,000 increase. And I am planning to attend this open hearing to express the wishes of the board, and if we decide, I could carry a letter from the Board of Selectmen in the town of Raleigh to the Triton School Committee, making our request and put it in writing, and I will present it to the chairwoman, Debbie Choate, at the meeting.
Very good. I do have a conflict with the 25th. I have a ZRC meeting that's been posted, so, and they're both at 7 o'clock, so I haven't quite got my being in two places at one time
You haven't worked out that split yet?
perfected to
Okay.
the ultimate. It's okay within the town, but when I have to leave town, it's a little complicated, so.
Well,
And I would appreciate if we could put this in writing and send it over and have you deliver it. That would be great.
I'd be happy to do that and to make, I will present the letter, and it will be included in their minutes for the meeting, and I will make a presentation. They do limit your time to 3 minutes to make a comment, and I will make a comment as I have done in the past. They are listening, they are working with us, but they're finding it difficult, and we're just hoping that they will be able to make some cuts. The 4% budget, as tentatively approved, I believe a week ago, is very high. We just can't afford that type of an increase, and we're hoping that they will be able to reduce their budget.
Dave, you going to be able to make the meeting?
No,
No, okay.
but I would just recommend, I did make a couple of comments before, our new growth, our 2.5% increase in our new growth is a little over 400,000 for the year. If they stay at 4%, they're gonna take over 3/4 of that. And just tonight on the veterans budget alone, it looks like we're gonna have to double it for next year or something along that line. Let alone the increases in all the other things, as well as we have the stadium project. And I think we should include in that letter a notation that because of the expected increases in the Triton budget, that we would be looking at an override to cover the cost for the stadium. I don't see how we can do it any other way.
No.
Let the taxpayers decide if they wanna do that or not. And with the snow and ice, if we're already $200,000 over, we're certainly gonna get 4 or 5 more weeks of winter potential. And I think they're still working out there on the current road, so I mean, that budget is just totally out of control at this point. We need to figure that in. That's gonna take a lot of our money for next year out of our budgets. So the rest of the town is gonna be running on nickels, dimes, and pennies in terms of, plus we already told our departments that we wanted to maintain a level funded expense budget except in extreme cases, so.
Right.
With a small employee raise, so. It's gonna be a tight budget year. I think the letter needs to impress upon the school committee and the school administration that, you know, this is a bad year and at this rate, it's only getting worse. It's not getting any better.
Yeah.
I was watching the news tonight before I came down here, and the governor's already saying how many 37 or $40 million less so far, just because of reductions in sales tax and gas tax from the current winter. So the state's already forewarning us that, you know, their revenue increases are not going to be much. So when we do the letter, I would recommend, Joe, that if we could bring enough copies so that you make sure that each member of the school committee is handed one by the chairman up at that meeting, so that, you know, it doesn't get lost in the shuffle, but each member of the school committee gets a copy of our letter in hand, so that there's no question that, you know, we're emphasizing the fact that for us this is a real crisis. I don't know how the other towns are dealing with it, but we got a real tough budget situation coming up, which we never expected because of the economy improving and everything else getting better. We just took it for granted that this might be a year that would show a little bit of leeway, but obviously that's not the case. So.
Yeah, and I think because most of those developments that have started several years ago are now finishing out, we're not going to have that income as much as we did back then.
Yeah, our new growth is way down because last year we got all the fees and all the other stuff, you know, those kinds of free cash type funding came in last year. A lot of those were already figured into last year's new growth, so you got to finish up stuff this year. So, yeah, it's not a pretty picture at all.
No, it really isn't.
We still need to maintain town services, and if the school takes it all, like I say, I know they need the stadium, and I'm in favor of the stadium, but at this point, I don't see how we can do anything other than put it on an override, because it's just.
Well, I think the people need to have the voice
Yeah.
to say that if they want it, then they can step up to the line.
Exactly.
But just one of those things.
So good luck, Joe.
Thanks, David.
Okay.
Does the board want to, consider an amount that you would like to ask them to reduce it to? I just wasn't sure. I mean, I'm throwing out a hypothetical. Town accountant Sue Bailey and I looked at it.
2.5 to 3%, I think, you know.
If you'd like to ask them to consider reducing,
As close to 2.5 as we can get it, I guess is the problem.
As close to.
Because we're still, we have no idea, so.
no,
I mean, obviously, we get the 2.5 increase on the tax rate, plus a little bit of free cash, so, you know. I don't expect they're gonna get it down that low, but if they can get it down to 3, it would certainly be a big help, but.
Right.
All we can do is explain to them our situation, and we're basically at their mercy, so.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll give you the motion to have the town administrator pen a letter together from the board and use her discretion to put in what she feels is appropriate language.
And I would like to ask also that the town administrator provide the copy so that I can hand deliver to each, rather than just to the Debbie Cho.
Yeah.
should the letter be a vote to authorize the chairman or the vice chairman on this letter to send, to be the signatory?
Yeah, I mean, but probably the chairman should sign it, right?
Okay.
You'll be around, Barbara, to
Yeah.
sign it before
Yeah.
Wednesday. Yeah, the
Yeah.
chairman can sign it.
Mhm.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. The next order on the agenda is minutes. December 1, 2014, executive session. Has everybody had a chance to read them?
Yes, sir.
Any errors or omissions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the minutes for December 1st, 2014, signify by saying aye.
All right, you give a
We'll
motion?
get a motion first.
I'll give you the motion.
Okay.
I'll
I
second.
thought you were still reading.
Mr. Chairman, should I just clarify, those are executive session minutes?
I did-
Executive,
Yeah.
December 1st. I'll make, did you make the motion?
Yeah, I made the motion, you
Yeah, I
seconded.
second it.
Okay. Trying
We'll get you
to
confused. yeah.
lengthen my meeting here. All those in favor of the December 1st, 2014 executive session minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The next set of minutes is December 8th, 2014.
I'll give you that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded for the December 8th, 2014 minutes. Any errors or omissions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And the next set of minutes are January 26, 2015. And this was an emergency meeting of the
All right, I
historic
was
blizzard storm.
I was absent, so you won't.
You were absent from this.
You're not gonna have a quorum, right? You need to,
No, we're not gonna have a quorum for this one.
we'll postpone this one until.
So we will have to hold it over for the next meeting. Okay. Our next agenda item is announcements. And the Board of Selectmen is reminding residents that if they have the opportunity and the ability to clear hydrants near their homes, the town would be very helpful if they could keep an eye on those, and they could also keep an eye on their neighbors. If they have some neighbors that may be elderly or have some issues, if they could kind of just check on them every once in a while, make sure they're okay, give them a hand. If they can't help them, they could notify the town, and maybe we could find them help if they needed it, Board of Health or something like that. So, and if you're going to shovel hydrants, we would like to see a 3-foot radius around the hydrants so that the firemen can attach their hoses. And the town has the following vacancies: fence viewer, 3 positions; wood, lumber, and bark inspector, and zoning board of appeals associate, 2 open seats; historical commission, historic district commission, 2 seats; parks and recreation committee, 2 seats; open space committee is seeking members. For more information on these positions, please contact the Selectman's office at 948-2372. Rowley Food Pantry is in need of donations, particularly during this time when people haven't been getting out too much. I'm sure that the donations are probably going down quite quick. The food pantry is open Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. And you can drop off donations at the public library, which will get them to the pantry.
And Mr. Chairman, the food pantry workers called today and spoke to Amy, and she
She just said that they are definitely going to be open tomorrow. They've been closed
Okay.
the last couple of weeks.
So they're definitely going to be open tomorrow on Tuesday at 10, from 10 to 12.
They're definitely going to try to be open
Oh,
tomorrow.
good, good. Yeah, I imagine the storm's probably raising havoc with them over there, trying to get the yard plowed out so people can park and all that kind of stuff, so,
The driveway was a mess, so.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So folks, step up, please. I think that's it. The next item agenda is adjourned.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.